Hello students, myself SVS, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to start a new poem from your textbook Flamingo. The title of the poem is Keeping Quiet, written by Pablo Neruda. See, Pablo Neruda, he was born in 1904 and died in 1973. See, Pablo Neruda is the pen name. So what was his real name? His real name was Neftali Ricardo Reyes Basalto. Pablo Neruda was a Chilean poet. He was awarded Nobel Prize for Literature in 1971. Keeping Quiet. This poem is all about the necessity of quiet introspection. I know it's a new word for you, introspection. Introspection means self-analysis, or we can say that it is the self-examination or observation of one's own emotional process. So here the poet is emphasizing two important things. One is introspection and silence. Introspection as well as retrospection, that is important. Retrospection, that is observing the past, analyzing the past. So according to the poet, introspection and silence, these two things are very important, and without silence and keeping quiet, the self-introspection is impossible. So for self-introspection or self-analysis, self-examination, what is needed? Silence and keeping quiet. So importance of silence and self-reflection, it is necessary to introspection. So here we can say that this poem, if you observe, you can see that it is written in free words. It is written in free words. Human beings, they are leading a very hectic life. They are always very busy and aimless life. So it is necessary for human beings to introspect. And the point here is trying to assert or discuss with the readers the importance of harmony, peace, and brotherhood and unity. Now let us go to the poem. Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. So the poet asks all of us to count 12, and by the time we have to stand, keep quiet, calm and still without any movement. So here the poet means by talking about 12. Here the 12, yes, it can be 12 seconds, or it can be 12 hours in a clock, or 12 months, that the readers have to decide. So we can say that 12 associated, or we can say represents 12-hour mark on the clock, or we can say that 12 months. Anyhow, so he says that we will count to 12, and what we'll do, and during this time, by counting 12, we will all keep still. Still means without any movement. So we will keep silence, as well as we will be calm and quiet, as well as we won't make any movement at all. That means here you can see two important poetic devices are used here. In the first line, now we will count to 12 assonance. You can see that O and E vowel sounds are repeated. So the poetic device used here is assonance. And the second line, we will, W sound, the consonant sound, that is repeated. So the poetic device used here, that is alliteration. Now let us come to the next line. For once on the face of the earth, let us not speak in any language. So he is asking for once. For once here means at least once. He says that at least once on the face of the earth, that means in this universe, let us not speak in any language. He asks us not to speak any language, because you can see that there are a lot of languages, millions of languages in this world. And one of the important reason for this barrier, okay, barriers among the humanity, that is languages. So language always stands as a barrier for unity, or it is the hindrance of unity. So he says that don't speak any language. So whatever the language it may be. So we are not asked to speak any language, but speak the language of silence. So he is asking all the humanity to remain silent for at least for a few moments. Let us not speak in any language. Let us stop for 1 second. At least for 1 second, let us stop speaking any language, whatever it may be. So here, let us. So in 2 consecutive lines, you can see this word is repeated. So an important poetic device used here is anaphora. Okay, what is that? Anaphora. And not move our arms so much. And he asks us not to move our arms. So here the poet has used a pun, P-U-N, pun. The pun here means dual meaning is there for the word arm. Arms can be the physical arm or the hand, arm of the human being, or it can be the weapon. Okay, so he says that stop speaking. 2 important things he asserts here. One is stop speaking and stop moving our arms. You see that the people use arms or weapons. Here arms means weapons, maybe to kill others or maybe to torture others and to conquer other countries. So here all these kind of activities should be stopped for at least for 1 second, and the human beings must stop doing any work with their arms or the hands and not move our arms so much. So he is asking not to move our arms so much. Okay, and what we have to do? And speak the language of silence. So with that, what will happen? This will bring the unity. When there is no barrier of language, what would be there? There would be unity and harmony among the humankind, human beings. It would be an exotic moment. Very important, students, mostly the question asked from here. It would be an exotic moment. What is the meaning of exotic? Exotic means unusual, a rare situation. So he says that it would be a rare situation, an unusual moment without rush. Why? Because if all stop, moving their hands, so there would be, and if all stop speaking, what will be there? There won't be any rush, and there won't any engines working, or without engines working. That means there won't be any engines running, no noise at all, nothing would be there, complete silence would be there in the entire universe. So he says that it would be a rare situation, an unusual situation. We would all be together. In that case, you see that we would all be together. We would all be together means we would be united. We will feel that all of us are united. The entire humanity, is united. In a sudden strangeness, here you can see that we would, poetic device used, that is alliteration, W sound, that is consonant sound repeated. Again, sudden strangeness, S sound, okay, repeated there, so that is also alliteration. So there would be strange feeling of unity, okay, and togetherness with all others. There would be unity and togetherness with all others. Fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales. Fisherman. So here 2 aspects, one is strong and another one is weak. Fisherman is strong and whale, that is weak. So fisherman in the cold sea would not harm whales. That means fisherman should stop hunting the whales. Here fisherman is generalized here. That means no human beings on the earth should harm other living being, should not hunt other animals, even for food or for his livelihood. It should not happen. And the man gathering salt would look at his hot hands. The man who is collecting the salt from the seashore, he should look at his hot hands. His hands would be hurt, injured. So that means the people, you see that they are doing monotonous work, and in their eagerness or in their greed to amass wealth, they forget about their own health. They harm themselves, damage themselves. So this is a great moment to introspect themselves. They must stop. People doing such activities must stop working, and they have to introspect themselves, analyze themselves. So one moment they have to look at their damaged body. So here he is saying that those who work endlessly, okay, will get some time, at least they will get some time to look at their injuries, okay, and also to see their damage happen to their bodies. So now let us go to the next line. Those who prepare green wards. Green wards means, yes, the devastation of environment, or we can say that then damage caused to the environment. So those who prepare green wards, and another one is wards with gas. Gas here means poisonous gas, and again with fire. Fire means weapons. So the people, those who are, yes, damaging the environment for their benefit, ruin the environment for their benefit. People, those who are preparing the war, nucleus wards and other chemical, wards with other chemical weapons. So they should think one thing, that victory with no survivors. So the victory will be there, but at last there won't be any survivors. No one will remain in this world after the victory. That means victory will be useless. So he says that no one is, okay, after the war, no one is left about. So what we have to do, this is the time to introspect, or the people who exploit the green wealth, that is, yes, green wards. The green wealth that can be of nature by deforestation, fishing, mining, whatever may be. And also those who are engaged in war with other countries, with other people, using deadly weapons as well as nuclear weapons, we can say that they should introspect and think that after the war, yes, after this type of war, there won't be anyone to enjoy, or anyone will survive in this world. Okay, there won't be anyone left in this world. And they would put on clean clothes. What they have to do? So the poet is asking them to put clean clothes and walk about their brothers. And those people who are preparing for wars, such wars, should walk with their, after wearing the clean clothes, should walk with their brothers, yes, in the shade, and rest there, rest in the shade, and spend some time to introspect themselves without doing any work, without doing anything. Here very important, dear students, you see that victory with no survivors, then poetic device used here, that is assonance, okay, and words, that is repeated, so it is a repetition. Then again, put on clean clothes, this is a metaphor, very important. So here, put on clean clothes, it means that to adopt a new approach. So those who are preparing war should adopt a new approach towards life. Why? Because killing many people is not at all a victory. So by adopting a new life, a new approach, they have to try to promote, they must try to promote peace and harmony in the world. So it is a time for them to, yes, promote peace and yes, harmony in the world. For that they have to, yes, keep quiet and introspect themselves. What I want should not be confused. Here the poet says that what I want, you should not be confused. That means you should not be confused about what I had told you. With total inactivity. That means don't think that I am talking about a total inactivity. That means he does not want anyone to be, yes, non-active or ideal. One who is sitting without any work, he is an ideal person. So he does not want anyone to be ideal. So he is not at all talking about inactivity. Life is what is about. Okay, so that means life is ongoing. It should move on. Life is about living it to the fullest. So we have to do the activity. It is not meant for, yes, wasting it, simply wasting the time like an ideal person. We have to work. We have to do action. But we must find out some time to, yes, think about ourselves. Think about the harm that can cause due to our work to others. So it is not an inactivity. Life is what it is about. I want no truck with death. No truck with death means to have no truck with, to refuse to associate or deal with, to refuse to tolerate something. Okay, that means he is not advocating death. No activity, inactivity, that means death. He is not advocating death, okay, like a silence. He is not asking about death like a silence. Okay, so that means truck with means not associate, relate with death. If we were not so single-minded, you see that human beings, they are single-minded. So according to him, we should not focus on doing one thing. Keep our lives, yes, moving. We have to keep our lives moving. So in the case of the human beings, we can say that, okay, we here refers to the human beings who are always thinking about what? Their own progress and advancement. They think about their own progress and advancement, and for that only they work. And if we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving, our lives, it must move on. That means we have to do some work for the benefit of the humanity as well as ourselves. But at the same time, we have to introspect. Okay, that he is telling. The poet wants us to do nothing for once. Okay, so we have to stop doing nothing for once so that our minds can be, yes, at peace, and also we will be able to introspect about keeping our lives moving and for once could do nothing. That means we have to stop doing nothing for one moment so that we can introspect ours. So he is asking for a huge silence. So perhaps a huge silence must interrupt means disturb this sadness. You see that we are having human beings, they are in great sadness, sorrow. What is the cause for this sadness or sorrow? Because we never understand ourselves. The reason for this is that they never try to understand themselves. So this sadness can be removed after observing a huge silence. Okay, so this might interrupt, or we can say disturb the sadness. That means it would be good as they fail to understand themselves. A huge silence can help them of never understanding ourselves and threatening ourselves with death. Okay, often man, you see what, they don't understand themselves, and it results in a profound depression. Okay, they come in a profound or deep depression which tempts him to take his own life. Or we can also see that the race for arms, race for weapons and ammunition and mass destruction, all this can cause for their own death. Perhaps the earth can teach us. So according to him, here I forgot to tell you one thing. So important poetic devices used here, we were. So this is an alliteration, example for an alliteration. So single-minded, that's also alliteration. And you see that and from and to death, you see continuous, there is no punctuation mark used. So the poetic device used here, that is enjoyment. Perhaps the earth can teach us, as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. So the poet says that perhaps the earth can teach us a good lesson. And in a moment you can see the earth is still, calm and quiet. In which time it happens? During winter. So during winter, everything that freezes and becomes lifeless. And we feel that everything becomes lifeless, trees, all whatever may be, it looks lifeless. But with the onset of spring, so all these things, they come back to life. So the earth is the best example for that. If you observe silence, okay, same like earth, we can come to action after an introspection, after analyzing ourselves. And when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive, that means life and yes, living never stops on earth. It's a continuous process. Okay, so during winters everything freezes, but they becomes lifeless. But again, the next season it comes back. All the things comes back to life. So birth is the best example for us. Okay. Now I will count up to 12. So the poet says that now I am going to count up to 12, and you keep quiet and I will go. So he walks out of the scene, and after conveying the message, now you are readers, you are supposed to, yes, count up to 12 and introspect yourself, because I have conveyed the message to you. So telling that, the poet, you see that he goes back the curtain. Dear students, I hope all of you understood this poem very well. So please like and subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching it.